views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not. No retribution. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show. Boaz, did you hear? I created it should have been a story. I created a security breach and scare here in New York City today.
You know what, Gary? If it were up to me, trust me, I would have locked you away in Guantanamo Bay for what you did.
I swear. I'll tell you what happened, guys. As you all know, on Fridays, I often do the show from my house. I've been having horrible internet connectivity issues, and I just had it with Comcast cable. And so I went out and I ordered Verizon Fios, which is big, like they say on their commercials. And I saved money by doing this too. Go figure. And so I put in the order this weekend. They said, well, we'll be there on August 21st, a Friday. Perfect. I get on the ferry to go from New Jersey to New York, and I'm sitting on the ferry, and they call from Verizon. They say, hey, the guy isn't at your house, and he's there to install it now. I said, you were supposed to install it not immediately on August 21st. So I said, well, look, the boat hasn't left the dock. I'll be home in 10 minutes to let him in. So I jump off the boat, and I said to the crews, I'm going off. I said, I got to go home. They said, you can't leave the boat. I said, why can't I leave the boat? Well, if you leave the boat, we're going to have to screen the boat. We're going to have to do a security sweep of the boat because you may have left a bomb behind. I said, you've got to be kidding me. So I said, well, look, forget about it. I'll go back on the boat. I'll reschedule this appointment. I get on the boat, and the crew comes over to me, like 3 or 4 members of the crew, including the captain. And they said, look, you can leave. We've already started the screening. And so all my fellow passengers are looking at me, and I go, no, this is ridiculous. Don't hold the boat up on my behalf because I got to ride with these people every day. Anyway, they did a quick sweep of the boat and shoved off. And as far as I know, it arrived safely in New York. I came back home, and I'm on this zippity-doo-dah great internet connection. So hopefully from now on, when I elect to do this show from home, we'll be doing just fine. More important issues than the one that I just told you about anecdotally. Blackwater is back in the news. Allegations being made by 2 ex-employees. The 2 men claim that the company's owner, Erik Prince, may have murdered or facilitated the murder of Iraqis who were cooperating with federal authorities investigating the private security company sent to that nation to protect U.S. assets. They also claim that Blackwater, now called XE Services, Z it's pronounced, ran drugs and intentionally deceived the U.S. State Department and other federal agencies. Susan Burke, who is a private attorney working in conjunction with the Center for Constitutional Rights, is suing Blackwater in 5 separate civil cases filed in the Washington, D.C. area. Joining us today to tell us all about this and gun running allegations and God knows what else is going on with the former Blackwater is Harper's Magazine contributing editor Scott Horton, who also writes the no comment column for the magazine's website. Scott Horton is a New York attorney. He's known here for his work in emerging markets and international law, especially human rights and armed conflict. He lectures at the Columbia Law School. He's a lifelong human rights advocate. He served as counsel to such notable as Andrei Sakharov and Elena Bonner and other activists in the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union. He co-founded the American University in Central Asia. He's been involved in some of the most significant foreign investment projects in the Central Eurasian region, and recently led a number of studies of abuse issues associated with the conduct of the war on terror, no longer called that by the Obama administration, for the New York Bar Association. Scott Horton, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Great to be with you.
Great to have you. So did we just hire these guys to work extrajudicially and run amok in Iraq? Because the allegations that you and Jeremy Schall at the Nation and others have been raising are just stunning, mind-boggling.
These allegations have been haunting them for several years now, and of course many of the things that were charged in these two affidavits by insiders have been alleged before by Iraqi civilians, for instance. But now we're hearing the story from inside the company. One affidavit prepared by a senior management figure who we know worked in management for 4 years, and all of his observations come from working on the inside. And that's the affiant who talks about, who links Erik Prince, the CEO, to the murder of a witness against Blackwater, and also ties him to arms smuggling and keeping all sorts of illicit cash off the books, so it's not being reported to federal officials.
Now, one of the parts about this that's really interesting is the allegation that was raised that Prince views himself as a Christian crusader and that he's out to eliminate Muslims and the Islamic faith from the globe. It really makes one wonder, how we mend our relationship as the current president is trying to do with the Islamic world when we have guys like this with this kind of an attitude allegedly killing Muslims in Iraq.
That's right. He's been dubbed recently the Crusader Prince. In fact, his family, going back for many, many years, has been very, very deeply involved in radical right-wing religious causes. His father was the principal financier of Jim Dobson's Focus on the Family, for instance. And they're tied to a number of other organizations on the religious right. And Erik Prince, who's the CEO of Blackwater, has made his faith, his religious views, which are closely intertwined with his political views, an essential defining element of Blackwater itself. Blackwater has very, very close ties with the Republican Party. It has recruited very heavily former Republican office holders